If you build or maintain a website like I do, making it easy to be searched and found are very important factors. You may have heard that SEO is not really relevant anymore by some YouTubers and clickbait.
Baby ducks, clickbait.
But the reality is SEO is still very applicable in 2025, but it's evolved. Don't expect to put down a bunch of keywords and have visitors come left and right. Creating something engaging and readable are important factors into driving your traffic. And the right combinations of keywords and other factors can definitely help. Now, I'm not an SEO expert. Don't even play one on TV. So I want something easy and quick to run. That's where Yoast comes in. Even though this post is sponsored, I've been using this plugin on my website for years now. So it's super easy to recommend this because it's really more than just SEO features. And yes, using AI and what's called generative engine optimization can simplify your posting process and get you ready to publish with confidence it's going to be crawled properly. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek. Before we get started, I have to mention that this is a sponsored video. Yoast is reviewing the video before publish, but all opinions are that of Geekazine. You can find out more information over at geekazine.com/review. If you would like me to review your product, choose the contact option and let's get the conversation started. Thanks to all the Patreons that also help keep the lights on. You can also go to patreon.com/Geekazine to support the site. What we're going to do is show you the features of Yoast. This includes SEO analysis, readability analysis, snippet preview XML, sitemaps, breadcrumbs, redirect manager, and internal linking suggestions.
That was a lot.
I know, but I'll have it all chaptered out for you on YouTube for you to easily peruse. Afterwards, I'll give you all my pros and cons and final thoughts. We'll start with the free offerings and then go pro on a website I just built. And if you are ready to move forward, I do have a promo code for you on the purchase of Yoast Pro subscription. Simply type in Geekazine15 for 15% off. So with that said, let's head over to the website and get this started. Okay, so I created a website and we're now here ready to explore and go from there. I did install Yoast SEO, just the freemium version, and we're going to see what it's got and has to offer before we jump into the pro license. As you go in, first thing you might see is up on top, it'll say there is a first-time SEO configuration. So you just click on that and that'll get you started from there. First-time configuration, wants to do a little bit of optimization. They've already successfully analyzed the site and we can move to the next step. So we'll hit continue. It's going to say, do you want a site representative? Who is your site about? So we're just going to say Geekazine and we'll just say Jeff. It is asking me to put in an image. So I'm going to go ahead and get an image in here. And we just use my regular Geekazine logo since we're going to be wiping the site at the end of this. We're going to save and continue. So now it's going to say, what social profiles do you have? So like a Facebook or a Twitter or X or whatever. We'll do Geekazine. And then if you have a couple others, you can add more, but we'll just do the one so we have something in there. Personal preferences. Basically, these are email messages. We're not going to share any site data in this situation, so we'll move from there. And then, of course, we can finish the configuration and we can go through some of the tutorials that they have, but we're just going to go to the SEO dashboard. So now here's the simple SEO dashboard, the free version. Before we go premium here, we're going to find out our SEO scores from our posts, from our categories, our readability scores, and of course everything's at 0 because we have no posts in here. On the left side here, you're going to see the Yoast SEO and all the information. We've got general, settings, integrations, tools, Academy, upgrades, Workbench, redirects, and support. Of course, we're in the general area right now. We can go to settings, which is where we're probably going to go next, and then integrations from there. So let's go to settings and see what we got. Inside of settings, we've got all these options to learn a little bit more and enable features. So if we want SEO analysis, we can enable or disable that. If we want readability analysis, we can enable or disable in that. And of course, language analysis, and which we can enable right there. We're going to say save. We have the insights as to what you're writing, what words do you most use often. We have Yoast AI, which is a premium feature, which we can unlock a little bit later. And then let's see, we got site structure for Cornerstone content. Now, Cornerstone content, from what I understand, is content that links together. It's a corner you can turn to continue onto your site and read more or watch more or whatever. So Cornerstone content is a very important SEO factor. And basically you get that by making a post that will possibly have another person go to another page or post on your site. Text link counter is enabled. We've got internet linking suggestions. That's a premium feature. Open Graph data, the Xcard data, Slack sharing, and admin bar menu. We've also got REST API endpoint, XML sitemaps to set up a sitemap for you, and then the index now is premium. So as you can see, there was really only, out of all these options, 3 items that would be in the premium section in this area. There's more to this, but within these settings, you can set this all up pretty straightforward. So when it's time to jump to the premium, you're already set up. We'll go over to site basics. This is the site info. We can, how people will see it on search engines, the website name, the alternate website name, the tagline, and a lot more. Putting in a logo. That way, if you have a post that doesn't have a featured image, it will use the default logo just in case. So you'll always have an image ready on whatever search engine you're going for. We've got site preferences here. We can restrict advanced settings for authors, and then we can set up usage tracking, which we're not going to do right now. We can set up all the site policies if we have premium. And that's it for this one. Let's move on to site representation. Are we an organization or a person? We can choose one or the other if this is just a simple blog of you, or if you are representing an organization, like I represent Geekazine, my brand. So I can put in all the organization information, the other profile information, and then additional organizational info with a premium subscription and identities with a premium subscription. So let's go over to site connections. We can add in all the search engines that we want to have crawl our website, like for instance, Google and Bing and Baidu and Pinterest and Yandex. Those are the main ones. Let's go over to the content type here. We've got homepage, and that's just telling you to edit the homepage itself for all that information. Our posts area, how it's once again show up in a search engine. So in this case, we have SEO title. We can insert different variables, but right now it says title, page, separator, and site title. If you don't want, let's say you don't want site title in there, just basically knock it out. So title, page, separator. But we'll most likely put in the site title, so we'll leave that in there. Meta description, if we want to insert a quick variable like a primary category, pretty straightforward here. And then the appearance stuff, that will give you an image and additional title information. That's a premium area right there. Our schema, how do we want this as? Do we want this as a web page, an about page, a facts page? Let's say you're making a website that's just purely all facts. You'll want to default the facts area. Questions and answers, profile, all these, you got different options. So tailor it to the type of web page that you are planning for. Article type, do we want a blog post? Do we want a social media posting, a news article? You get the idea. So the schema, you'll be able to set up from there. And of course, pages, very similar to that. How do you want the title and the description to go? image with premium. We have the schema for the pages, and your schema for pages can be different for your schema for blog posts. And that can really separate some things so they know which pages, because sometimes you'll see pages get searched. In fact, when you do a search, you'll see the website and then it'll say like about the website or contact on the website or this, these are all titles that got cataloged by Google. And of course, giving people a quick drop down so they don't have to go to the main page to get to the contact page. Once again, this is just the pages area. We have categories and tags. So simple categories, simple tags that you want to put in there. So like for instance, with a category, you can set up a category, you can put in a meta description and of course the SEO title. So when it does search it and they find it via this area, gives them more information to work with without a bunch of clutter. And then of course the premium features as well. And then, of course, tags. Now, tags, one thing that WordPress doesn't have is a way to give you some sort of extra information. And if you create a tag, you want people to understand what the tag's about. Like, for instance, if I'm creating a tag about shoes, I want to say these are for men's shoes about size 8 through 15. That's a quick example right there, but you get the idea. Give them something that gives them more information so when they know that they're going to click and get the information that they're looking for. So you can set up your tags right there. And in fact, I don't think I set that up on my set. I'm going to have to double check on that. All right, so we do have the advanced area. Let's go there. We've got crawl optimization, which will allow you to do things like remove all the short links, remove REST APIs, WLW links, like for instance, remove short links. If all of a sudden you start seeing short links on your homepage and you don't want them on your homepage, you can put in this code and that will wipe it clean from the homepage, but your posts will still have the code. Different things that you can do to make it more your site without looking janky. Breadcrumbs, these are simple keywords, ideas that when people start searching for things and they're not really searching on your website, they're going to find it through these breadcrumbs that'll take them there because your site is crawled properly and searched properly. So they know if they're looking for shoes that you've got a great article over on your site about this type of pair of shoe. I don't know why I chose shoes. Just
Shoes.
next up, we have the author archives that basically, once again, giving people information, who you are, what you do, all that other good stuff. The date archives. So when everything is archived, it's giving them very specific information. Like this article about shoes was made back in 2010. So maybe you need to look at a more current version. Maybe we do have a more current version over on the website. Format archives, exactly the same here. Special pages, exactly the same. Media pages, and of course RSS. Now RSS, this is interesting because you can add stuff into your RSS to give them more information. So if they're crawling via an RSS reader, they'll be able to, once they scroll past you, they'll have all the information they need to know if they want to click and find out about that new pair of shoes. That's all the settings here. We've got integration options. So if you have like SEMrush or Winsure, and they do offer free trials of both of these services, you can integrate into that. Plus there's some other API integrations that you can work with, and you can check with Yoast to see if there's anything more than this that you can get. There's a bunch of stuff. You can add plugins to this whole thing right here. Let's move over to tools. You can import and export, file editor, bulk editor, and optimize your SEO data. 4 different things here. We already did the optimization. If you let your website sit for a couple days without doing anything, this plugin, it will optimize automatically. So we can import and export. So let's say you're bringing posts over from an old website that you did about shoes that's pretty much gone and you want to bring it over into this new website. You can do that, or vice versa. The file editor, this will allow you to change the important files for SEO. Your bulk editor allows you to change lots of titles. So we won't have any too many titles in here, probably just the default titles from the theme that I have. And we can just go in and say, we want a new Yoast SEO title right here, and we can change that. And I believe with Premium, we're going to have more options for AI into here. The Academy, you want to learn more? That's where this area is. So learning about SEO for beginners, Yoast SEO for WordPress, all this other stuff, so you can really get your website tuned up properly. And then of course the upgrades is going to tell you how you can upgrade, because there's more than just Premium. If your website's doing videos, you might want to drive using the video SEO option. Of course, if you're into news, then you want to have Google's news carousel or be in Google's news carousel. That's where this comes in. So these are separate from even the Premium. But of course, if you're focusing on something specific, then these will help you out there. Workouts is Premium, but these are really cool because what happens is, and I'll show you a little bit later, what happens is it'll look at articles and suggest changes, or suggest that you might want to make some changes to these articles to bring it up, so you can have ways people can find your articles, ways people can read your articles and not feel bored or want to click off of it. Redirects is the same thing. This is actually a really nice little feature, especially if you've got an older website with older content. You'll want to start bringing in different types of redirect options. So let's say a 2010 post about shoes is no longer relevant, so you decide to archive it and make it non-viewable. So if somebody types in that website, because there's still links out there on the internet, if they click on that link, then it's going to take them to a redirect page rather than a 404 page. And then they get confused or frustrated and leave your site altogether. And then, of course, simply support. If you have questions, if you are trying to find community, whatever you're doing, there is a Premium area for the support team, but you can get answers online and you can read articles and everything like that. And that's all through here. All right, so let's take a look at a post I created. This is what you're going to see on the regular version with Yoast and what you can do. So I wrote a quick post. It says, Yoast does SEO, Yoast SEO plugin review. Does it actually still matter? It was a ChatGPT thing. So anyway, I created a simple article right here, very straightforward and ready to go. If we look over here on the bottom right corner, you're going to see the SEO analysis, and it says about SEO, Yoast SEO, my analysis is okay, my readability analysis need improvement, and inclusive language is good. And of course, if I choose that, that'll give me a drop down, but we're also going to see it over here. So let's drop down so you can see this over here better. This is the Yoast SEO area, and right here is what people will see if they are on Google and searching for Yoast SEO, for example. We want to focus keyword. Always want to focus keyword and figure out what that focus keyword is. You can do some research and see if there is a keyword that really can drive traffic out there. And there's several different ways that you can get that and looking at the rankings. But you can also go through here. I'm not sure if this is a Premium feature or not. We'll find out. So yes, we want to approve that. And you can get more options with the Premium version, but it will give you some results. Like for instance, Yoast SEO, we've got a difficulty of 81, but all-in-one SEO versus Yoast all of a sudden gives us a more easy score for quality content. Now we're not comparing Yoast SEO to another SEO system, so we're probably not going to use that. So keep your keywords in the focus of what your article is about, and that's very important right there. You can look through here and see what the best keyword system is, and of course you can change the country. So let's say you want to see what people in the United Kingdom are searching on more than the United States. You can change that up, and there you go. You've got different options right there. Okay, we've put in our focus keyword. We're going to see our search appearance here as a mobile result or as a desktop result. As you can see, we've got our title, and of course, we haven't provided any meta description. We can put in a meta description right here. We took SEO with, and as you can see, that's changing everything up above. We talk SEO with Yoast and see if this is a perfect match for you and your website. And of course, as you can see, it's orange right now. I want to get it to green, which means that's a great amount of characters that will fill up in a mobile and a Google search, what people will read before the ellipsis happens. So we'll just leave it at this. It's a little bit low, but that's fine. From here, we have some premium features that we can go to. We'll show you those a little bit later. And we can show, here's the Cornerstone content. So we can mark this as a Cornerstone content. So let's say our website is about SEO, all about SEO. And this becomes a Cornerstone piece for that SEO discussion. With the advanced, we can add in robot information, breadcrumb information, canonical information that will help people find us, and insights as a premium feature, but it will tell us a little bit more rank or scores or anything like that. It tells us our reading time is 2 minutes, and we've got 324 words inside of our article. This gives us the Flesh reading ease score of 70.2, fairly easy to read article. So you want to keep it fairly easy, unless your website is really technical. Then you probably don't want a high-end Flesh score, because you won't probably be putting in a lot of terms that people will have to understand. So there we go. As you can see, that is everything that helps us with that. We can even change some stuff here. We see that our inclusive language, that was the English, that was perfect. So it's green. Readability needs help, and SEO needs help, of course, a little bit more. But we'll just leave here. Let's look for what we got here. This is the first part is our premium. Let's look at some of the article itself. It says we have 12.9% of the sentences in passive voice, and we have 25% in transition words. So let's look at the passive voice, and we can do that simply by hitting that I right there, going back up to the article, and notice that some of these sentences are highlighted. These are the passive sentences that they want you to try and figure out how to fix. Make it so it's less passive. It might take a little bit of work. Another thing that you might see in here are longer sentences, because this technically could be considered a longer sentence right here. It supports AI-driven writing and something called generative engine optimization, helping you optimize smarter and publish faster. We can break this up a little bit. We've changed this to 2 sentences. One sentence has not passive, but the second sentence is still passive, and we'll probably still have a readability score in the orange area, so not so great, but not too bad itself. And sometimes with some of the articles that you write, trying to find the right level of words, passive sentences, and word structure and transition words can get a little bit difficult. So you can spend a lot of time at this, but don't stress yourself out on getting this all green at times, because sometimes it's the post is just not going to be able to do it, especially if you've just got quick posts. So that's what happens when you write an article. Of course, when you do a page, exactly the same thing happens. You'll have a very similar set of instructions on Yoast that will allow you to create the content and understand what you need to change in your article to make it more readable, more searchable, and more liked.
So, what's the premium?
We've gone through the basis of Yoast's main freemium version. Let's go from freemium to premium. And basically what you do is you choose premium, you go to checkout. Don't forget that code Geekazine15 for 15% off. It is a subscription model, so you will be paying a yearly subscription from there. But once you've paid, it'll go in and ask you where your website is. You will then download a new version of Yoast's plugin. This is the pro version of the plugin. You'll keep both the regular and the pro plugins active onto the website. But basically it's a download from there. All you really have to do is go to add plugin and upload your plugin. You choose your file and then you put in the zip file that was downloaded. Don't open up the zip file. It goes right in as it is, and hit install now. And then of course, activate the plugin. Now we've got this plugin on this website that's in full premium mode. If you go over to Yoast SEO, you'll now see that a lot of the stuff that we saw as premium mode is now available to you. Like for instance, in the settings, let's go here. You'll see some of the settings. The Yoast AI has now been put in. Keep in mind that right now it is in beta, but all these 3 extra plugins, the index now, I believe internal linking suggestions. Yeah, that was a premium, and this was in beta, but it's also in premium. So as you can see, these premium features are now enabled and you can use them to however you want. You'll want to go back over through here and go through your basics, because now you have this site policies, for example, that you'll want to add to everything here. So like for instance, if you've got a publishing principles page, you'll put that into this. We'll put it into the about, and same thing with ownership. Everything right now will go into about, which you can absolutely do. You just have to have a section on your connection, all your policies and procedures. Let's go back over here to the content type, the home page, the posts. In the premium area, now you can put an image for your social media appearance for posts. That way you can have a different image than your homepage image, so you can separate the two between posts and pages. You can so you'll know if you get the watermark for the page, you know that you forgot to put in your defined image for that. We can add all of that as we go. So go back in here and then check out some of the appearances, especially when it comes to categories and tags. Having a image for a tag, I know that sounds weird, but it actually works. I used to use a plugin on Geekazine that would do that with my tags. It was great. It's just that the plugin stopped working after a while and I had to remove it. So it's nice to actually bring it in through Yoast and run it through there. You go through all the settings, our integrations, our tools. As you can see, we've got all our tools here, integrations. The same thing here, the integrations are ready to go. You can bring in other plugins. Upgrades are still upgrades. So like for instance, we do have this rank higher in search results through there, so we could have it activated and installed. But all of these other items you'll have to get on your own. Let's say this is a site about videos. So we'll go to videos. As you can see, it's $79 a month for this, but it will allow you to get more video support if your website is driving video traffic or news traffic, so you can get onto the news pages. And covering all the Yoast plugins, there's an all-in-one Yoast plugin right there that all you have to do is click on there, and that's $229 a year. So you'll have all of them, so you'll be covered no matter what. And then the last thing is on the support page, you will have the ability to contact a support team with a premium membership. That's a really good plus, because if you're really stuck and you just need to say, hey, explain it to me like a 5-year-old, there'll be somebody on the support team that'll be able to do that. Another thing that we'll take a look at is these workouts and unlinked content. I probably won't have too much here since this is a newer website. But what I can do is I can go in and rank what I want to with it. And we'll start by doing any type of Cornerstone content. And let's see, let's just use the about page for the Cornerstone content. And I finished this step. We can check the number of incoming internal links. So take a look at that list below. There is no list below, of course, because I don't have too much content in here. We finished that step. Add the internal links towards your cornerstones. So you want to bring people to the about page. You want to have some of the other pages, other posts going back to the about page. And then you can say, I've done this, and you can then reset this workout, or if I've finished this workout, and you're good to go. back to the workouts. We can start out this workout, clean up your unlinked content. And as you can see, I have a few things that have unlinked contents, like this sample page right here. I can hide it from search engines, which will improve my rankings because it's a sample page. I don't want this to be Google search, but I can remove the content, or I can improvise. Let's go ahead and do that. They said move this article to the next step. That's down here. So let's say features and services, we're going to hide. Yes. About, we're going to improve. Contact will improve. And hello world, we are going to remove. And we want this to go to the home page. So we'll have it redirect. So if somebody had a link for hello world, it'll go straight to the home page instead of anything. And then of course the blog we want to improve as well. So now we've gone to the next step. We want to improve these pages, and by doing that we're going to be taking a look at these pages. There's the sample page right there. In this case, I think what we want to do is we'll say it's up to date right now. And then same thing about the about, up to date. We've made our changes, and now we can say that's up to date. Now we can add internal links towards those orphaned articles. So we can make a copy link, and then we can put that into another post that will go to this page, and then finish that step, and then done the workout. There are other workouts that could show up here, so watch this page every now and then. Same thing with the redirects. As you can see, we have our hello world, which we just did in the workout. We have made it so it's now redirecting to the home page. So it's created this 301 for hello world, and as you can see, that just goes right back to that home page right there. We can bulk out action, delete everything if we want to, and start all over. But let's take a look at our post again and see how things have changed there. All right, so here's our original article that we've been writing on here. We have our keyword in here. We know our readability. We've got more options here. Like for instance, problems. It says one of the problems it says is subheading distribution. You are not using any subheadings, although your text is rather long. Try adding some subheadings. And then if you have a question, all you have to do is click on the link, and it says, how do you use subheadings on your site? These are H2s, H3s. So basically what it's saying is, like for instance, right here, this is a paragraph. This should probably be a heading of some sort. And we'll do H2. And then we'll say, what's gone? We're going to add a H3 heading because you want to have a structured top level, secondary, tri-area. You don't use H1 because those are usually titles of the article, and then H2, H3, so it can kind of catalog it in. In fact, if you go up on your main post, you can see all your paragraphs and your H's through your WordPress. In Shopify, I'm not exactly sure how that works, but you'll probably have something very similar to that. Okay, now we want to do full disclosure, and this time we'll do another heading, but this time we'll leave it at H2. A lot of times you can do H2, H3. I don't really go into the H4s, 5s, and 6s, but in certain situations you might want to have it drill down a little bit more. So basically, if we're on the shoes, we're talking shoes as the main header, men's shoes is the subheader or the H2, H3 is size 9 shoes, and H4 would be dress shoes or sneakers, and then H5 would be with insoles or without, and then H6 is laces or Velcro. So as you can see, the drill down list is there, and you want to utilize it as best as possible. Now we've put in some headings here. So we'll come back in here and notice that heading thing has completely gone. So we've got that. We crushed that. Perfect. Let's go to passive voice. Let's see what the passive voices are. Notice even titles can be considered passive. We're not going to mess with the titles. We want to mess with these sentences in here. But here in 2025, SEO is very much alive. It's just evolved. So we want to make this from being passive. A good way to find out is if you do have something like ChatGPT, you could actually put that line into ChatGPT and say, hey, make this not passive. So now we'll change this. Boom, like that. We change this out to SEO isn't dead in 2025. It's adapting and thriving. And keep in mind, you can also find other types of help to making these not passive. Like ChatGPT, you can always ask it, hey, how do I make this not passive? Now we've changed that one passive line, and we could do that again. But as you can see, we've now changed our readability score to green. So we've taken care of most of the passive. We could go even more from here because we still have a lot of passive voice. What are transition words? Let's see what we've got here. Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine. Actually, I don't think, we don't need to do that. So let's take that down. Like that. We're going to change this to this line. We're breaking it down feature by feature. There we go. And now we have one less transition word. We can go in and we can change more and more. For instance, this one right here, Yoast SEO in 2025, why it matters. And that should take out some of the transition words. So now we've actually changed our readability more to orange, which is interesting. So, but we don't have as much transition words, and we probably have a little bit more passive voice. So you can go back and forth. You can go completely crazy trying to get this balanced in here. And with SEO, basically what they want you to do is, we'll go back to these key phrases. They'll want you to do Yoast SEO. They want to see Yoast SEO plugins or premium. Yoast SEO plugins has a score of 71. So let's bring that in into here. Make that into a heading here. We'll say Yoast has a series of SEO plugins you can get to focus your site to a specific search criteria. Check out the SEO plugins area for more information. Like that. And then, since this is driving me crazy, I'm just going to title it all this. Now we've added a new keyword, the Yoast SEO plugins area. So we can get to the related key phrase, and we've got that. We can bring in a few more to try and turn this from orange into green. What would be another one to add? Yoast SEO Wordpress. So we can say something like this: Yoast SEO is for WordPress or Shopify. I've created this extra line. Now let's go down here. We've got we've got more related keywords in here. We've got an intent. I want to show you this really quick. So we've got the intent area. You see the trend. So that's fairly straightforward if people are searching for that. In the difficulty area, it'll actually give you some information as to being hard or difficult. It says that difficult, if Yoast for SEO, you'll need a lot of reference domains and optimized content for that, which we can add another key phrase there, because we did put in Yoast for SEO and we did Yoast SEO right there. And now we've got some more information on here. We also did the premium, so we added that. You'll notice the T, the transactional, the N, the navigational, and C, commercial. So these are important things to take a look at as you're adding them into your article. So how do you want it to be more on a transactional plane? Do you want it to be more on a commercial plane or more on a navigational plane? So keep that in mind as you're building the SEO from here. We could do a lot more because this article does need a lot more to it. This is just a basic article. But as you grow, you're going to learn and you're going to add and you're going to learn. Let's go back in here. Another feature we've got now is that beta AI, which works and kind of doesn't work every now and then. And I always like to use the AI as a base, because when I see things AI written, they kind of look formulaic. And that's all well and good because you can change it. So we've got the article here. Let's go here. What you see on the website in the mobile device, you see the title. And then, of course, we have the meta description, which I put in something, but I didn't save that. So it's now blank. So now we can use AI. And then we can approve to have AI generator come on. And this is going to give you something. Could be a basis of what you do. You could just use this whole thing outright. So we're going to use the second one. Explore the benefits of Yoast SEO for website owners. Improve your site's readability and search engine ranking today. Apply the meta description. Just shows up right there. It's kind of like an excerpt from a blog post. And as you can see, we've got more than enough characters to give us the green down there. That's okay, because that's going to fill this up. Because once again, if we just go, let's just do this. La, 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 la. Now we're in the past. That's now orange, and it only gets up to a certain part that before it just cuts itself off. We can even use AI on the SEO title if you want, and we'll apply that there. And now that's green. And then we can go down here. We could do some analysis. We can even dive in deeper and find out what we need to do. Like, for instance, this is a perfect example. Internal links. No internal links appear in this page. We should add an internal link, like the About page we talked about earlier. We did a full disclosure. I could say, find out more from the About page. And we'll go About page. And then we'll bold that. I always like to bold the linked stuff. And then I'll do the About, which should come up. Yep, there we are. About. Perfect. Now we've linked internally. And that should help with that score. So let's go back down here. We have no outbound links, and we can add an outbound link. Check out Yoast SEO website for more information. And we don't want to highlight the whole line. We just want to highlight a bit of it. So we'll go Yoast SEO website. There we go. Bold link. And we'll go https yoast.com. Now we have an external link there so that we can check that off the list. And it checks itself off the list, actually. Images. You have no images in here. Add something. So let's go ahead and add an image. Let's just do the Geekazine logo. And we'll put it, let's see, we'll put it right there. And we'll go to images and media library. And we'll do the newer Geekazine image. And then we'll set that up 200. And we'll set that to the right. Make it look nice. And now we'll go back down. Images are gone. It says key phrase in introduction. Your key phrase or its synonyms do not appear in the first paragraph. So we want to have Yoast SEO in the first paragraph here. So we want to figure this out. We can retool that first paragraph so we can have the Yoast SEO or one of the other key phrases in that opening paragraph so your page does better in searches. Improvements, it's saying key phrase and image alt attributes. So with that image, we want to put in an alt of Yoast SEO. We'll just do that and be more descriptive of what the picture is. We're just doing it from here. And notice how we've just changed to a green because we've pretty much eliminated a lot of the orange and red down here. So we have outbound links, we have key phrase images, we have images, of course, internal links, key phrase density, key phrase and SEO title, key phrase length, meta description, description length. Oh, we got this all set up here. And now the only other thing is to make sure that we got the right image in there. This image is popping in, you see that, and that's taking it from this image. But if we set a featured image, let's do the old Geekazine logo. Now it will be the old Geekazine logo. So you could change that out as you go and choose which image will become your featured image. And that can be very important in people clicking the link. All right, so now we've got this all going. We're green across the board, and we can now take a look and see if we want to make this Cornerstone content. So if we want to make this a Cornerstone content piece, we will turn that on. So now it will treat it as Cornerstone content, which means that when you go to write articles, you really want to reference this as much as possible so they all link together. Of course, once again, it has to relate for all this to work. So let's say you write another article about one thing that you can do to your SEO that will vault your pages. and then basically add this Cornerstone content to it so they have something to go back to. It's kind of like with YouTube. YouTube has those recommended videos on their page. Same idea here is trying to get that same type of content through. We've got our Cornerstone content. You don't want to make every post Cornerstone content. You want to make specific posts that that reference back and give people an explanation. Advanced. So do you want search engines to search on the results? You can say yes or no. Now, keep in mind, sometimes saying no is a good idea, especially if it's something that doesn't really match the niche of your website. Let's say you're just going off on a blog on something and you really don't want it searched. You just want it for yourself. Switch that off. And then it won't be searched, and therefore it won't be ranked with your other content. So if you have a website that has a blog section, if you have a website, and then of course it also has articles to it, you can turn the blogs off so they can't be searched because it's more of a journal for yourself, and then the articles to be searched. So keep that in mind. You have that option. Meta Robots Advanced. This is what's going to be put into the robots.txt page, which is a part of the website that allows search engines to skip over this page or only access a bit of it. It tells robots what to access when it comes to this page. And then, of course, we have our breadcrumb title, which is Yoast SEO in 2025. Let's just do that. And a canonical URL. And if you're not sure what that is, this is going to tell you. In this video right here, we'll tell you everything about setting up the canonical URL. All right. So we got that. Let's take a look at the insights. We've now got a reading time of 2 minutes, 305 words. Flesh reading score is 73.8 out of 100. So that's pretty decent. Our SEO is good. Our keywords are good in SEO, Yoast, and plugin. Of course, we have this checkbox that's showing up 7 times. SEO shows up 13 times. Yoast shows up 8 times. So if you want to increase more Yoast than SEO, you'll want to write more sentences with Yoast in it. Now you have your article all set. It's got keywords. It's got SEO in there. We've put some AI into there so we can check it out. This is kind of ready. We got the image in there. The image is telling people what it is. So everything in here is giving us great scores. Our SEO has dropped down back to orange a little bit. So we could, once again, it's a back and forth. And in all reality, as time goes on, scores on those keywords that we put in have changed. The SEO will change as well. So you can go back and let's say you want to revitalize this. You did this article 5 years ago and you want to redo it and update it. And the SEO score has gone from excellent to, yeah, you need to work on it. Then you can go and change the keywords, change the keyword data, and make it fresh for new people to view. So with that, we've got our article. Looks pretty good. We've got everything we need to get this going. So it is ready for publish, and we can feel confident in that. Like I said, things are going to change. And when that happens, that's where all these extra tools change. That's where the workouts change. That's where looking at the SEO and looking at the keywords, changing the keywords from time to time. So it becomes more relevant to 2026 than it did for 2025. Let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons. The only con that I can think of is that there is some points where I could have gotten some more information. The passive sentences, because I'm not exactly sure what to do. I actually used ChatGPT to change those sentences so they didn't feel passive. Eventually, when I start doing this, I'll see what those changes were and kind of hopefully start to realize and then make the changes from there. But it would have been nice if Yoast would have had an extra AI tool that would give us an idea of how to write the sentences that, and the transitional words out of there so we can work a little bit faster. For the plugin itself, between the freemium version and the premium version, the free version I used for 2-3 years before I actually purchased the premium version. And it has a lot of great features in there on its own. So if you cannot afford to get premium just yet, you can start using it and have everything in. When you're ready to go to that subscription level, then you have that all ready to go. It's just going to transfer right over. Don't forget to use that code Geekazine15 so you can get 15% off. Lots of pros in here. Learning how to write better is one of those pros, if you think about it. Because like I just said, I'm not exactly sure what is a passive voice. I'm not exactly sure what is a transitional word. I can learn and I can adapt and I can start writing better. I understand that I need to put things into sections, and a good article, you'll see a heading and then a subheading, 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 heading, subheading, subheading. So it breaks it down for people to read easier. The plugin itself, very straightforward to use. You can definitely go through it. It's got a whole bunch of areas that you can learn about something. If you're not exactly sure what Cornerstone content is or canonical URLs are about, you can go in and they can explain to you what happens. And of course, with the premium version, if you definitely need to have them explain it to you like a fifth grader, you can contact support and get that information from there. I also like this page right here, which is basically telling me out of all my articles, which ones do I need to work on, which ones I don't need to touch at all because they're doing great. Readability scores, SEO scores, because these are two different things right here. We also have the alert center, so if we have any problems, we can definitely take a look at it, and we can even get notified if they run into problems that you want to address really quick. One more thing I want to show you really quick, and that's this XML sitemap options. And this was in the site features with all these other features. And as you can see, we have the XML sitemap. Now, this is something that search engines use to see what they can search on your website. Not all search engines go for the sitemap, but stuff like Google will look at the XML sitemap. So if, once again, you are doing a personal blog and you don't want it to show up on search results and you've indicated that, then the XML sitemap will tell it not to search that content. But we have that. We can actually see our sitemap by clicking there, which right now has pretty much nothing in here on the page. But as I start adding articles and pages, you're going to see all of that set up in this sitemap right here. And of course, if you want to learn more, once again, click on the Learn More, and there's whole articles that talk about getting the XML sitemap tuned up so search engines can search you. But my question to you is, what do you think of Yoast SEO? Let me know in the comments below if you use it, if you use the free version, if you use the premium version, and how it's helped your website. Comments below over at geekazine.com, youtube.com/geekazine, where you can like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Until next time, my name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. Thanks to our Patreons once again. If you want to be a part of the Patreons, go to patreon.com/geekazine and help out the channel and keep the lights on. I appreciate that much. Thank you very much to Yoast for sponsoring this post. And of course, if you have any questions on that, let me know over at geekazine.com/contact. Till next time, you guys geek out and get your SEO right with Yoast SEO.